what's up? I'm back with another recap and review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 4, episode 11, Mission Impossible, Road to Eutaw, Alabama. Let's just throw that out there once again. I've said on Twitter before, like, I always thought that they were like going literally to Utah State, not Eutaw, Alabama, but whatever. Nonetheless, I am Janice, Barb, whatever you prefer to call me. Just do not call me Janice or Barba. And let's get into this recap and review, shall we? Also, disregard my appearance. I'm going to the gym after this, trying to get my life back on track here. So yeah, let me just throw that out. Anyway, let's get into the review. So this episode begins with Tiffany. She is informing us, as well as Lewis, whatever. She's informing us that she is going to be sitting down with her parents right now. They're on their way over, so she can let them know that she is going to be trying to locate her biological father. We do know that she, in the past, has had interactions with her biological mother, so much so that the last time that they interacted, I believe, her mom told her who she thought was who this man was that was supposed to be Tiffany's father. It turns out after they had the DNA test that it came out negative and that wasn't her father. So that's kind of, I guess, why she stopped calling her mom, her biological mom. But anywho, her parents show up and she tells them what's up, and they were overall receptive of it. Her mother especially, she was in full support of whatever her daughter wants to do. And Tiffany, she already kind of thought that that's how it would go with her mom. It was more so her dad. She was a little bit more weary about how he was going to accept the news, but he also accepts it pretty well, in my opinion. The only thing he said is, before, when you found out that you were adopted, I was like, kind of apprehensive about that, or again, weary about that, because I thought that you would locate them or whatever and kind of just stop loving us and just go off into the sunset with them. Obviously, that's not what happened. Tiffany is very grateful for her chosen family. She makes that abundantly clear throughout this episode, as well as I'm sure in the past. I've never gotten the idea that she was lacking so much so with her adoptive chosen family. That's why she was going out to find her biological family. It's more so, as she says in this episode, for medical reasons and just to really get to know what her true identity is comprised of. So I don't see an issue with that at all. Moving on, we are in Bessemer, Alabama. And that is, of course, where Tisha is from. We see her and Marsau pull up on Wanda, who is speaking to a truck renovator about her food truck. So they quickly go inside to check out the truck. But before we even get into that, I wasn't expecting the truck to be in tip-top condition or nothing like that, New paint job, throw up your logo and all that up there, your contact information. I thought maybe it wouldn't have all the appliances or anything like that. It could possibly have been gutted for all of that stuff. But the hunk of junk that came across my screen, y'all, yeah, woo. And Marsau clocked in real quick. He was like, does this even run? Does it even start up? I'll give you the money right now if it starts up. But if it doesn't, Tisha, it's going to just be throwing $40,000 out the window. But in Tisha's eyes, this is an investment. This is her mom. She knows she's a hustler. She's a go-getter. She's going to get it done. She's seen her do great things in the past before. And I'm just like, okay, I guess I just graduated last week, y'all, with my degree in business administration. So excuse me if I didn't completely just think right off the bat, okay, can we get a business plan? Can we get, you know, what is your return on investment gonna be? What can we get anything? Like, can we get a little asset turnover? Like what exactly do you bring to this business endeavor beyond just cooking food? Because, okay, fine, she can cook. We'll get into that a little bit later in the episode, but you know, we'll give you that. You can throw down on the grill, whatever. You gonna be throwing these potatoes together with the help of T-Man and Tiffany and whoever else, cousins, nieces, nephews, whatever. But I gotta say, I'm with Marsau on this, as well as, like, yeah, the way that she's been coming at him. And this is by no means me taking up for any of his shadiness or antics. Let me just get that clear. But if we're speaking on destroying families and causing chaos in marriages and stuff like that, you can't count one without the other, in my opinion. If Martell and the Holtz were trying to do this, then damn it, Wanda was trying to do it as well. And I stand firm in that, because she's always, Tisha wants to put up this ignorance is bliss, or this blissful bubble. My marriage is perfect. My marriage is perfect. They try to destroy my marriage type. And I'm just like, okay, if that's what she's trying to roll with or whatever, then Wanda, why are you coming up here every 5 minutes, bringing up stuff that you see in the blogs, bringing up this, bringing up that? Like, if your daughter wants to be done, then let her be done. I'm sorry. And I get it. You know, as a parent, you don't want to see your child go down the wrong road. But at the same time, it's just like, girl, just leave her alone, leave them alone, whatever. So I guess, I don't know if, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But it's clear that they're still having opposite outlooks on the situation. And like I said, the truck looks like shit inside and out. So we'll see how this comes together. Moving on, Mel and Tiffany are on the road to Eutaw. And Tiffany, she's pumped. From what we can see, they're starting at a local newspaper, because apparently they would have started looking for, like, at the school or whatever, but the school burned down where her mom or whoever went, whatever. So the conversation quickly moves to how Tiffany wants to have another baby. She's made that super clear to us the past couple episodes. She wants another baby. Good God, great, I guess. But at the same time, you cannot want, you know, if your partner's already telling you that they don't think this is the best thing because you already don't have much time to dedicate to them and other stuff, that's something you might want to remedy before you try to do that. Because right now it's not, yeah, we want a baby. No, it's Tiffany wants a baby, and Tiffany's spouse is like, I don't really know if that's the best thing. And I'm totally understanding of that, because he's also going to have to be there for the child and help raise the child. So, you know, I get it. I definitely get it. And also, is Louis a little bit older than Tiffany? Maybe that's another thing too. Like, his son, I know, is like, her son, I think, is a little bit younger, but they're both teens, preteens, whatever. So I could get why he's like, but is this not a conversation that that's my question. Is this not a conversation that they had prior to getting married or whatever? Was that an agreement that they had, that they were going to have, you know, one more, and now, like, he's trying to back out of that? Or is this something they didn't talk about? I like to think, again, going off of previous seasons and whatnot, it's like, y'all was trying to give all this advice and whatnot. So I'm assuming y'all had this conversation, because if not, did you guys really start off on the best foot then? But we'll see. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And Melody, she says, she's like, well, yeah, if he's saying no, then and maybe you should listen to him. And again, I'm right with her on that. But Tiffany, she starts rambling on and on and on and on and on about how, you know, she's still holding it down, doing her, you know, part in their marriage and still doing everything she's supposed to do with ample time. And I'm like, no. Is that like you squeezing everything in, or really like dedicating and carving out the time? Like, there's a difference between meeting a deadline and actually going above and beyond with room to spare, or time to spare, I should say. And I think Tiffany needs to figure out where she falls within that statement. But when I tell you I died when Melody fell asleep, like Tiffany was going on and on and on. And all I heard was like, you know, like the Jeopardy music. That's all I heard. And before we knew it, Melody was asleep, y'all. And I couldn't do nothing but laugh, even though that was low-key rude. And I would feel some type of way if I was Tiffany. But anyway, so they reached the local newspaper or whatever. And we soon get a real nice, realistic history lesson. And basically it's like, okay, just because by law things were supposed to be getting integrated at that time, doesn't mean that deep down in Alabama that was necessarily the case. It definitely took some years to reach those points of which are now going to cause issues for this journey that Tiffany's trying to embark on. And I say that because we find out that back then you could, like, an interracial relations could result in someone getting lynched. White teens, they went to private schools back then after Black students were allowed in the public schools. There wasn't really any Black students in the public schools. So that, again, all of these factors that we're learning now are going to create and cause more of a complex dynamic for what Tiffany is trying to do. So again, we will see how that plays out going forward. But they do kind of get a little bit more clarity on certain things. They step outside and we were quickly introduced to a gentleman who owns a barbershop across the street. And when Tiffany asks, when she shows him a picture of her biological mother and was like, you know, are you from here? He was like, yes, born and raised, been here my whole life, yada, yada, yada. She shows him the picture and he quickly recognizes her mother. And we quickly find out that, for lack of better words, Tiffany's mom used to like to, I don't know if it was a fetish or whatever. She used to fetishize BBC, whatever you want to call it. If she just, you know, she just had an attraction, and I want to say mostly, I guess, physical attraction. She had that, you know, for the young Black guys. And I don't agree with when in the end of the scene, Tiffany says like, oh, well, she's kind of like, oh, well, my mother couldn't have been racist. And I'm like, that's not necessarily the case. Like, we see the same narrative play out before on the screen in real life, stuff like that. Like, you know, someone could speak to you, someone could, you know, offer you whatever, you know, so much so that you think like, oh no, they couldn't possibly be racist, but still be the whole time be racist or whatever. Or you see like, you have a kid, a friend or whatnot, and then you meet the rest of their family and it's like, so don't ever get it twisted. Like, we will never know that answer until we actually meet Tiffany's mom, which probably will never happen because she done cut her off and whatever, that's fine by me. I don't care about that. But I'm like, let's not quickly write off the fact that she might still very much so be racist. And the whole time I was also thinking Lewis could have just came on this trip, because I'm guessing they're on their way back to Huntsville. And I'm just like, this wasn't as, although, which is great. Tiffany got some answers. She got a little bit more clarity. She got a little bit more to work with information wise. Cool. That's great. But I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, you really need a Melody to come with you and just ask like 2 or 3 questions that I feel like Lewis could have been well equipped enough to ask, and probably would have, and maybe even more. Whatever. I digress. But anyway, meanwhile, we're back in Bessemer at Wanda's, I guess, tasting, brand launch, whatever, soft launch thing. And first of all, my first thoughts with this was like, wow, I'm surprised that Wanda's hair was flat enough to even get up under that cap, but we won't get into that. But we also are formally introduced to a lot of Tisha's family members. And I'm like, I don't know if this is the route that the show is now trying to take, since previously in previous seasons, we know that Melody and Martell were kind of the couple that everything was centered around. So I'm not sure if that's where we're trying to navigate things to now, is Tisha and her family. But I could have used a little bit more of a formal introduction to their whole thing, because it was kind of just like we were thrown into people's storylines that we don't even like, who are you? Like, we're not invested in these people's lives yet. So why are you trying to just throw all of these things that are happening, like these monumental things that are happening in these individuals' lives? Like, who, what? We don't know you from Larry, Mo, or, you know, Suzanne. So who are you really? But whatever. We're introduced to T-Man, which is Tisha's brother, and he immediately drops the baby bomb that he's expecting another baby. He tells his cousin Tiffany that, and mind you, his baby mother, child's mother, girlfriend, she's right there. Like, what are you doing? This was not the plan. And I completely understand, because I know, like, that's usually how these things go. I'm seeing, like, especially in recent years and stuff like that, like, you don't ever want to speak on something, you know, if you're expecting a child, sometimes like that, like, you don't want to speak on it too soon, because, you know, what if something unfortunate happens, or you just want to be 100% aware and know that everything is safe, happy, and healthy before you just go announcing that to the world. So my whole thing with that really was not even so much that he said that and that's the issue. I was like, girl, you got a lot more messing around with him. You gonna have a lot more issues in store, just because, I'm sorry, but T-Man seems very effing simple, if you ask me. And that's quite a concern for me. Couldn't it be me? I'm good on him, but no one asked me. So again, I digress. Moving right along. And I don't know. When Tisha, after that whole thing, he kind of clears the air with his girlfriend and apologizes. He goes up to Tisha and tells her the news as well, since cat's already out the bag. And she's kind of like, what? Because we also find out that, oh boy, his divorce is not even finalized. So I'm like, so you're creating new families, and this one over here, you haven't even wrap that whole situation up. Emphasis on wrap that situation up, because when Tisha asked him, so you're not using protection out here? Like, how did you, what, huh? What, how do we get into this? He's like, well, this ain't the old days, sis. Like, come on now. And I'm like, and you do not need to procreate. You are the issue in this world today. Like, the old days, condoms are a thing of the old days. Like, no, sir. And Tisha quickly brought him back down to reality and said, HIV is real. There is a lot of different sexually transmitted infections, diseases that you can get by not using protection. Like, whatever. I just can't get behind that. But I was like, man, did Tisha get all the brains in the family? And if she did, like, that ain't saying much at all. But anyway, Tisha begins to serve more pep talks. Not this time. We're talking to cousin Tiffany, who's also going to be a part of the food truck business, and she's like, so I'm about to get I'm actually going through a divorce. And I'm just like, where is all this coming from? Like, it was just kind of like weird for me, like, to get all this information about people that we have not seen on the screen at all before. Y'all let me know in the comments if you were like, because I damn sure was like, but whatever. And I'm like, it just seems so forced. And Tisha's all like, oh, I'm be there for you, cousin. Da, da, da. Like, you got 4 kids, right? And she's like, no, I got 5 now. And I'm like, I don't know if they're showing all this to us because they want us to understand why everyone's going so hard to get this food truck up and going. Like, is everybody banking on this food truck? Because if that's the case, they might want to go get another day job. Just saying. We're kind of saved by the bell, but are we really? Not really. Actually, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let me go back to my notes. But while Marsau, this is all going down, while Marsau is getting actually cursed out by cousin Bernard. And literally, yeah, he's definitely a male version of Wanda. We quickly find that out as well. And he just doesn't see it from Marsau. And like most of us don't. He says he's a liar. He's a cheat. He's all these things, but it wasn't quite landing. Everything he was saying wasn't quite landing how it was supposed to be landing because, and I'll say it, I don't care. Like, Tisha's family, they just make it very easy for someone like Marsau, who's playing off of getting over on the blogs, on the public, whatever. They make it very easy for him to continue doing so, because he's always going to play off of the humor of the whole interaction and situation every time they give him a chance. So he quickly starts doing that whole like deflecting, being humorous thing, Mr. Wise Ass type thing, you know, that he does. And I'm like, has there ever been an event now that one, Tisha has not cried out or her family hasn't made a school circle around somebody, usually Marsau? Because the whole family, cousins, nieces, everybody done gathered around Marsau and was giving him the business. And again, I'm not mad at them for that, but I'm just like, okay, we've seen this kind of happen before. Like, I'm kind of sick of this at this point. It's either we need some substantiating stuff to support these claims. I just need this whole Marsau's a cheater. He ain't this, he ain't that. They ain't got a perfect marriage. For real. I'm gonna need this to take us to the next level with it. Like, I need some more from it, because it's the same thing. Like, we know that every time there's a family gathering, he gonna get the business from somebody. Like, so I just need more from that. Marsau, you're a liar. You're a liar, Marsau. Marsau, you're a liar. Oh, like, it was funny. I can't even lie. It was funny. But I'm just like, come on, y'all. Come on. Yeah, the smell test. No one wants to smell your dick. Like, bye. Ugh. Humor. That's the stuff I'm saying. He plays on them. In this moment, I felt like he was playing on them being from the other side of the tracks type thing. I feel like, not that he looks down on them, maybe not so much so, but like, he just doesn't feel like he owes anybody an answer, including his wife. And of course, this whole time they're going at him. And what's Tisha doing? Standing right next to him, eating it all up. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. They are forever going to be her mouthpiece, even though she tries to act unbothered by everything. Every chance she gets, her actions say otherwise. And she allows this to go on, because that's truly how she feels too. You can't tell me that she's so similar to the rest of her family in all these different ways, but by golly gee, they're wondering what she's thinking, and she's not really thinking it. Like, no, she's thinking the same exact things. They all are thinking the same things. This was one moment where it stood out that he finally did say, I'm definitely staying true to my wife. But do we believe that? No. And the episode pretty much ends with Wanda interrupting everybody to serve up her potatoes that don't look appetizing to me whatsoever. It was the pour of the big ass bottle of barbecue sauce and the every type of food item on the menu being placed on those potatoes for me. What are shrimps? I don't know. I guess that is another type of prawn, if you will. T-Man is sitting there looking dumb as hell. If you ask me, this is also when he takes time to tell Wanda that he's got another baby coming, and she quickly is like, what? Why are you telling, what? Right now? What are you talking about this to me for? You already got 2 grandkids I'm taking care of. And I'm like, I guess, like, because it's Tisha, and then she has a T-Man, and I guess they have another brother too. So maybe that's the other brother's kids, or I'm assuming so, because I would have ripped him a whole new one if it's like, you out here having more children and I'm taking care of 2 of your other ones. So I'm going to assume it's the other brother's kids that she has custody of. But Wanda is like, bye. And I'm like, why is Wanda's picture blown up like that? Can we get an official logo for Show Enough Potatoes or whatever? I don't know. Episode ends with Kiki walking in, and Tisha's like, and we already know it's going down next week. And I think this is when Marsau, I think how we've seen previously, Kiki is the one family member that Marsau is going to that's going to be able to truly bother and get up under Marsau's skin. And I'm pretty sure it's going to result in Tisha bursting into tears. So there's that. But y'all, this is my recap and review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought of this episode as well as my video in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on that notifications bell so you can know every time I upload. Again, I'm still trying to get to a consistent schedule right now, so continue to bear with me. You guys have been great and super supportive, and I thank you, cannot thank you enough. But until next time, bye guys.